Hello, my name is Bloodstained Wings, and today I thought we would do a nice painting. We've been doing a lot of happy little skies this past couple of weeks, and I thought I would change things up dramatically, but still do a happy sky. Well, at least still a sky. Ta-da! This is a lovely seascape that I thought you guys would enjoy as a completely different aspect from the previous paintings. This painting does start on a black canvas, so if you've not already painted your canvas black, please feel free to do so right now. You can use a black gesso, or you can buy a black canvas. They are available in some places. So if you're ready, let's go! Hello! I am very excited to start doing this painting with you. So we're going to start with the same way we usually do, with a little bit of the goop here on our brush, and we're just going to make sure to cover the entire canvas with the goop as we usually do. This is the Bob Ross wet on wet technique. So if you haven't done any other paintings with me or with him, your first lesson, cover the whole canvas with your liquid clear or your goop or whatever medium you're using with your oil paints. This is what we do. We start with a wet canvas. And you want to make sure it has a nice even coat of that on the entire canvas. Then, what we are going to do is we are going to use transparent colors to try and lay in some color in the background here. So some of these are less transparent than I would like them to be, but they're as transparent as I can get. So this is a transparent yellow, and I'm gonna kind of put it where I want the lighthouse to mainly be. So I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna have like a band of it across the canvas here. And you can see it's not exactly transparent, but it's pretty transparent. So it is close enough for our purposes, and so we shall use this transparent yellow. And that's gonna go in a nice band like that in the middle of our sky. And then we're gonna have the same thing shining in the bottom. And that's where we have to keep in mind where you want the eye of your wave to be. I'll explain more as we get there, but this is where I want my eye of the wave to be. And so I'm going to put this down here. Generally, you want it to be fairly close to your shore. Wherever you're going to have a shore, you want to have that eye close to that. So. Now, yellow is a very, very weak color, especially the transparent yellow. So you want to make sure you're putting way more wide. So like I only want a strip like this wide, but you can see that I've put about that much on it. And same with up here. I only really want a strip like this wide, but I put this much on it. And it's because when we blend the green in with the yellow, the green is going to take over. So you just want to keep that in mind when laying in your color, how much of a band of color you want of each. So keep the yellow as wide as you can. So I'm gonna start with the green in the middle here. This is Veridin hue. You can use phthalo green. Phthalo green is a much more transparent green. And so I would actually recommend, if you have the transparent green, the phthalo green, to use that one instead of this. I don't. And yeah. I don't. So that's that. So I am using the green that I have. And then I'm gonna come in and put it down here. Well, it's not very much of that in my brush. There we go. Make sure to get that green over there. Because I want to kind of make this so that it looks very eerie and surreal and not natural looking. That's the goal that I am going for. If you are going for something more natural, please feel free to not follow along with this. There's plenty of Bob Ross paintings that are much more like natural settings. I'm not going for that. I'm going for more of a surreal, not a real place kind of vibe. I am now touching a small amount of the Prussian blue. The Prussian blue is many shades darker than pretty much anything that's on this canvas so far. And I just want to kiss the corners with it, basically, to kind of make it like really dark up in the corners there. So it kind of gives this like depth of it being really far away. I'm going to do the same thing down here, but it's already got a little bit of green in it, so it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, see? Not too bad. Okay, so now we get to do some of the fun. I'm really excited. Are you excited? Get excited. I will say, for this painting, we are going to be doing something that we don't normally do while I do my videos. Normally I just have enough brushes around that I don't do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that brush that we just used. And I'm going to do that because I don't want any of the blue to be in with the other colors. Now I have a container here that has paint thinner in it. I use an odorless paint thinner, and it's like a quick dry odorless paint thinner. And I have it in a little container here. I can show it. There we go. So I have it in a container where I can just kind of brush off all the excess paint, and then I can knock off the excess and kind of pull my brush against the bar that's in there to kind of get more of the paint thinner off and for more of it to be inside of the jar as opposed to all over my table and everything. That's good. And we want to save as much of it as possible, and it does evaporate very quickly. So I'm going to keep that container closed, but we will be doing that again later. Because when doing like the eye of the center of the wave, you're going to probably want to clean your brush. I did get a lot of extra brushes, and that's why I'm cleaning this brush, because I'm saving them for that. But should we get there, you know, it might happen. So I'm just using a paper towel to kind of dry off the brush, make sure it's nice and clean and dry. Bob Ross just whacked it against something, but I've done that, and paint goes everywhere. When he jokes about it, he's not joking. It's for real. It really does go everywhere. And if you don't want to have unremovable oil paints on literally everything, I would not recommend doing the beating the devil out of it in your living room. That's going to be paint on your floor that is going to forever be there. So, and then you'll walk in it and make it go all over the house, and it's a bad time. I don't recommend it. Do not recommend that. All right, let's brighten up this sky a little bit. So I'm going into the white with my clean brush that I just cleaned, I just dried. And I'm keeping in mind where that yellow band is. Now you guys can kind of see, kind of a little bit, the yellow here, the green here, the yellow here. You can kind of see that. So I want to keep in mind where my lighthouse is going to be. And I'm gonna pick my lighthouse to be right there. And then now I'm going to kind of brighten up the sky around the lighthouse, keeping in mind where the lighthouse is, and generally the sky. And you don't want to go back into the center after you have gone into the not center, because your brush is picking up some of the color and is not going to be as bright as it was previously. So I'm just kind of pulling this out here this way because I want it to be like a ray of light coming from the lighthouse. Okay, and now I can very gently blend everything away. There is a lot of paint on this brush, and I don't want that much paint on my brush, so I'm going to switch to another brush. And I'm going to just try to swirl some of this excess paint so that it kind of blends. There we go. Blending. you're just gonna keep blending and keep going until either your arm hurts or you like the way it looks. I'm just knocking off some of the excess paint, and I'm gonna go back into the middle here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of white, and I'm gonna go back into the middle here and just brighten up that area a little bit more and kind of make it more round. Now we are going to paint clouds and such over top of some of this, but not all of it. So keep blending until you get it to a part where you think it's nice and smooth. And if ever you want to go back into the center and add a little bit more white, you can feel free to do so. And then remember to blend outwards from there. And if you go back into the center, make sure you pick up more white. And you can make this as bright as you want it to be. I want it to be pretty bright. I want it to be like near daytime with this little light here. I don't know why I do, but I do. It's just how I want this to look, apparently. So we're just gonna kind of go with it. I think that the more light that I have in this painting is going to help me to showcase the darkness that I have planned later. Because if it all stays black, it's going to be very hard to see everything. So trying to add a bunch of brightness so that we can add the darkness later and everything makes sense and looks hunky-dory. Woo! Getting there. We're getting there. There we go. All right, so I'm liking the way this looks. This does look a little odd. So I might try to smooth that out a little bit more. So that it's not so streaky and more blendy. These are words that I chose to use, and I could have chosen other words that probably were real words, but you know, we like to just make stuff up here and live in our makeup pretend world in which I can say things like streaky doos. And I decided that that was a thing I could say. So, you know, going with it. I'm going with it. What do you need to do? Stop me. Go ahead. Try. You will fail. I will make up words. Okay, so there we go. Enough fiddly-faddling. Right? Right. Okay. I'm going to go in and make some dark clouds. So I'm going to mix the Viridant hue on my brush. And I'm using a round brush, and I'm mixing it with the Prussian blue, and that's going to make it really dark because Prussian blue is a very, very, very dark color. And so the idea here is to make a very dark color, and we're just going to come up and make some very dark clouds. And if we did a good job with the lighting of things, then that's going to be nice and visible against it, but then disappear into the abyss, which is what we're hoping for. So we've done a bunch of skies this month to showcase how to do these clouds and skies. So I hope you guys are well versed and ready to paint a nice dark sky with me. Just wanted like a really big cloud. be like, hey, I'm a big cloud. I'm a big cloud now. That joke was probably only funny to me. That's okay. Let's get some more paint. All right, a bit more of the phthalo or the Prussian blue here. There we go. I don't want it to be completely green, but I do want it to still be very green. And I'm just gonna do another one right there. To say no to all of that beautiful light coming out of our lighthouse here. So I bet you're wondering right about now, when is she gonna do that cool thing in the sky that I saw on the intro? Right now. We're gonna do it right now. That's when we're gonna do it. So I'm gonna take my liner brush and I'm gonna go into mostly the Prussian blue, but still a little bit of the green. We still want it to be a little bit green, but still mostly the Prussian blue. We want this to be, it's gonna look black basically because of how dark the Prussian blue is. And we wanna make sure it's nice and thin. So if it's not thin, you're gonna have a hard time drawing, but when it's nice and thin, everything goes great. All right, let's do this. And we're gonna just have wiggledy-doos. Have nice tentacles coming out of nowhere. Coming out of the sky. Like that. There we go. Trying to make sure that it's a nice tentacle shape. Should I probably have references for what a tentacle looks like? Yeah, you know what? That's probably a good idea. Am I going to? No, probably not, but that's okay. That is okay. I come up here into a big loop like that. I think that looks good. Have it like tuck. Okay, or mess with it until it no longer looks good. Also a valid choice. There we go. There we go, and now we just need to fill that in. Sorry, I'm just mixing with more of the goop to make it flow better. There we go. That'll help it fill in better. Having a more inky consistency. Now, I will say, not all my paintings are super dark. And I do have a lovely painting coming up next week that is very light. But I felt like after all of those pretty rainbow skies that we did, we needed to fight back against them. There's too much sunshine. We had to definitely darken that up. And what better way is there to darken things up with a nice Cthulhu painting? I mean, really. Can you top a good Cthulhu painting? Is this Cthulhu? Not necessarily, but could it be Cthulhu? Yes. Do one like this. Does that. So it's like, arcing up, doing something cool. There we go. Could I use a bigger brush to fill this in? Yes. But, like I said earlier, I am trying to save as many brushes as possible for the wave that we're going to do down here, so you'll have to forgive me for being a little frugal and taking my time with this. But if you would like to go faster and use a bigger brush, please feel free to do so. And if you have some extra time, you can put like suckers on this guy and like details like that in it, if you wanted to. I will not be doing that. I'm gonna keep this pretty simple. But I wanted to have a little weird guy going on over here. And I think this is going to be the last one we do. Mostly because running out of the thin down paint that I already mixed, and I don't want to mix any more. So this is going to be the last one that we do. For obviously very legitimate reasons and totally not because I'm lazy. There we go. There we go. Tentacles in the sky. Excellent. So now we're gonna mix more of that dark color, but this time we're gonna use the palette knife to do it. A little bit more of that green. Apparently that was just all Prussian blue. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna make a lighthouse. So the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna get that little roll of paint like we always do. A little roll of paint. And I'm just gonna decide where the bottom of the lighthouse is. So I'm gonna say there. And then here. And then I'm just gonna pull over. Filling in that little gap area. And I'm gonna clean up the edges using the liner brush. There we go. And I forgot that I need to put a little hat on it. So I'm going to use that mixture that I just did with the palette knife, go back into my goop, try and get a little bit more to put a little hat on our lighthouse here. Lighthouse. There we go. All right. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. There we go. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and put some clouds underneath that. And that'll help to like mystify it, make it misty, make it cloudy, make it mysterious. Because obviously this only happens on mysterious nights. Just gonna do another one under here to kind of show that this is kind of all mysterious. Woo. And we're just gonna blend out the bottom like we usually do, right across the bottom there, so that it all kind of matches into one and you can barely see that it ends there at all. And then we're just gonna fluff up the tops, fluffing up the tops. There we go. And we got ourselves a crazy lighthouse. Very excitingly. Now we're gonna do the fun bit. Obviously this whole thing is the fun bit. But now we're gonna decide where we want our wave. We're gonna decide where we want all of the other waves and everything. So I'm gonna clean my liner brush and make sure that it's nice and dry. We want that to be very dry. And I'm gonna get a new pile of goop so that it can be clean and not contaminated by the blue, which is gonna be very important because there's gonna be yellow. So, I mean, there is gonna be green, so it's okay if it gets a little bit, but the idea is to try to have it as white as possible at the beginning so that, you know, if it does turn, that's okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is decide where we want our wave. Now you have to understand the shape of a wave. And the shape of a wave is kind of important. So generally they kind of like slope up and then curl. Like, and then like this part that is the sloping up, that part crashes this way. And then where it curls this way, that's where the eye is going to be. I don't know if my hand shape and signals and sound effects helped you, but sound effects help me a lot. So if you're having trouble doing this, try using sound effects. It sounds stupid, but it works. Okay, so we're just going to start here and slope upwards and then psh, like that. So this is going to be the eye of our storm here. The eye of our storm. The eye of our wave. And then this is going to help shape the wave. And then we're going to be looking into it over here. And then this is going to be the like push over and then like splash up kind of part. I don't know if that words made sense, but you know. So here, just to help define it, this is where our eye is going to go. So this part's going to be white and filled in with white, basically. And then this part here, you want to keep up the idea of a wave in your mind when you're doing the wiggle-de-doos. And these are gonna lay down. As they go, they're gonna get more and more relaxed. Do you see what I mean? So it like makes it look like it's curling up like that. And then you can actually take a fan brush and you can follow that a little bit just to help it to curl. Keeping in mind the lines that you put down so that it can help to shape the wave. See how it's shaping already? And that's the idea that you want to do. You want to keep it to be laying more and more flat as you get out to this part here. we'll put a rock over top of that part. That's fine. But generally, that's what you want it to do in that area there. And then on the other side, I'm going to use my fan brush. And we're going to come over like this. And you're going to pull straight across and then pull in an arc. So you're going to pull straight across and then like that. There, like that, right? That's what you want it to do. And then there's gonna be a rock here, I think. And then we'll sploosh it up and make some splooshies. Make some splooshies. You want to also have the splooshies go at the bottom of the wave and along that curve. There we go. There. So, let's make this more. There we go. I wanted to make it bigger. You can always decide to do that, and that's fine. And this part here, we're just going to smooth out the bottom of it. Okay, that's fine. It's not. I don't like where it is, but that's okay. It's fine. It's fine. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take a Phillips brush or a flatter brush. I'm going to use this brush here, and I'm going to go into the white, and I'm going to mix it with a little bit of that transparent yellow, just to get it to be a nice yellow color, to kind of mix in and make this part solidly that yellow color. And then we're going to clean up our brush. And because I was smart and I put the yellow down here first, it's not picking up any blue, which means that when we blend this, we don't have to worry about that yellow turning blue, which is very helpful. You can see you want this to basically be like vertical in this area, and then as we go this way, it kind of lays down, if that makes sense. So I'm going to grab some more white. So I want that to be brighter, and I'm just going to add a little brightness right up there. Knock off the excess, and then blend it away. Now you can do this as many times as you want to achieve the brightness that you want in your wave, and you can blend it out as much as you want to achieve the softness that you want in your wave. But you can already see that it kind of gives it that kind of atmosphere of a wave. There, nice and smooshy right there. All right. Now we need to decide where we want the rest of the waves, because it's just really important to get that one done first, that you make sure you have enough room for it and everything is going to be hunky-dory. So let's take some of the, I need some actual paint on there. Let's take some of the white paint and just do little scooping motions behind this wave here. So that helps, again, to shape it so it looks like it's coming to a point. Because we do want that to be coming to a point right there. And there you go, first wave. Now, the other waves I don't necessarily want to have so dramatic at everything, but you still want it to have that same kind of shape. So you're going to want to come up and come down so that it has that kind of wave shape. And then keeping in mind the way that you pulled this one, you want to pull this one as well. And leave space between them so that it's not just one wave going right into another. You want to have that like darkness in between them. So you want to leave space for that darkness between them to exist. And then backswing it, so that once again you get that lovely shape to everything. See, so it kind of looks like a wave in the background. I think that the rest of them are just going to be really choppy and we're not going to be able to see any definition to anything. So I'm just going to decide where we want our lighthouse light to kind of hit, and then just kind of there we go. So I just did one more for the heck of it. But it's very, very subtle. Back there, you can barely see it. But it's there, it exists. There you have it. So now we have a tumultuous ocean. And you don't want to blend out all of the darkness. You want to make sure you're keeping some of that there for sure. But as of right now, I think we have a nice little situation. So I'm going to take more of that mixture of the blue and the green. And I'm going to do a big old rock right there. To just be like, there's a big old rock right there. And then I'm going to highlight that rock. But make sure you clean your brush when you do this, so that, or your palette knife when you do this, so that your palette knife isn't just blue. And you want to just touch it. Whoa, jeez! You want to throw your brush on the ground. Oh, jeez. All right, you want to touch very gently and pull very gently, but don't let go of your palette knife, like some people. People are rude, letting go of their palette knives like that. Why would they do that? What did the palette knife ever do to them? Okay, joke's over, it's fine. Going back to my fan brush, I'm just gonna clean up around the footsies. So it looks like there's a little water playing there, and that's good. And taking my big brush, which still has some of the white on it, I'm going to actually take some of this and pull straight down to give a kind of waterline look, like it's hitting the water there. Like this is where the sand is. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. And then very gently drag across. Beautiful. So now we have this kind of like glassy water look at the bottom there, and then we can take some paint thinner and mix it in with the white that we have here, and we're going to push really hard. And we're going to push really hard and have a nice little water line. I have run out of paint, but I will go back. I'm pushing really, really hard on my knife. I don't know if you can tell that it's bending, but it's bending. I am bending my knife to make this happen. There. And now, using my fan brush, I can pull that out to kind of blend with the wave coming up, keeping in mind the angles. Never forget those angles, they're very important. And the good thing about our paint running out here is that we want it to be less here than over here. And you can see there was some green mixed in over here. And that's because that's where I stopped having the yellow and started having the green. And it's giving a green look to the water. And I think that that makes it look really a lot more surreal and like unnatural. So I'm pro that. Not everyone is, but I am. Very specifically in this case, because I feel like it's giving more of a surreal, magical look. Now obviously if you want it to look more actual real and less surreal, you probably want, like, you know, the sand to be brown and the water to be blue. But you know, you don't necessarily have to do that. And I like playing with things and making them look still really interesting and different while still being playful. Do we want another rock? I really like this waterline though. It looks really good. Maybe I don't want another rock. Maybe I just want to leave it. Maybe I just want to leave this the way that it is. Maybe this is really cool and I shouldn't mess with perfection. If you wanted though, you could go into that paint that you mixed with the white and the goop and add some more details in here to like have some like really like standout lines, and that's going to help it to stand out as well. I think I'm going to do that. Even though this video is already very long, I think it's okay to add a little bit more details. These lines are also going to help it to kind of shape it as well. So the shape is important, and you want to make sure you get that shape right. So if you messed up somewhere, this is a great way to help you to fix the shape of your wave by adding these kind of like wiggly lines. Wiggly lines! And this is just white paint mixed with some of the goop so that it flows nicer from the brush. That'll give you a nice little shape there for the whole thing. I'm actually going to put a little line also underneath this just to really make it like stand out that that's the curl of our wave there. Yeah. Anyways, there you go. Did a little extra wiggly doos, and those always help to make things look extra wiggly do. And everybody likes wiggly doos, especially when there's Cthulhu's in the sky. You got tentacles. They're just tentacles, but you know, that's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed this painting, and if you did, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are interested in purchasing this painting, it will be available in my Etsy shop, and all of the links for all of my stuff are in the description below. The names passing by on the screen are my Patreon supporters, and I very much appreciate every single one of them and all the work that they let me do for them. And I hope you guys are really enjoying these paint-alongs with me, and I'll see you next week. And remember, you are loved and you deserve to be loved. Mwah! Bye!